All right. Let me introduce our first speaker, Jesus Martinez. Martinez says that tomorrow he would conclude his effective coaching pathways. This is the first pathways he's ever completed in Toastmasters. It took him over a year. That's pretty good. Jesus, I'm probably still working on my DTM, and it's been many, many, many years. He's honored to be sharing the special movement with our Carrollwood Toastmasters, or moment with our Carrollwood Toastmasters Club. His speech is entitled, My Toastmasters Odyssey. It's 10 minutes, and he will discuss his journey through Toastmasters and how he's come about with new skills and learned to enrich his professional and personal life. So please welcome Jesus Martinez and his speech, My Toastmasters Odysseys. Jesus?
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. My name is Jesus Martinez, and today I will be completing my speech titled, My Toastmasters Odyssey. I will be discussing my journey through Toastmasters as I complete my first pathway, as well as some of the skills that I learned and how they enriched my life and made me the person I am today. I see a lot of similarities between my journey in Toastmasters and Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. As some of you might know and some of you do not know, I'm actually from New Jersey, and I moved down here a few years ago. And one of my struggles was with Lyme disease, which affected my neurological system. And, I led to a really deep, dark side of my life. I woke up one day and half of my face was paralyzed. Being a sales manager at Quest Diagnostics and not being able to smile is a pretty big deal. And it really had a really powerful impact on my confidence, my communication skills. I ended up losing my home, my job, and my 9 years relationship with my girlfriend. And so my story kind of starts when I moved to Florida to start anew. But the journey between then and now starts very similar to Dorothys Story. Toto! Toto, where are you, Toto? The Twister's coming! The Twister's coming! Toto! I landed in the middle of a whole new world named Tampa, Florida. And I start to work for a new company. And they start to talk to me about Toastmasters. And I tell them, Toastmasters is not for me. Okay? My life is a mess. I don't have any organizational skills. I'm afraid to talk in front of people. And I'm even afraid to be seen. And my friend said, you sound like the perfect candidate for Toastmasters. All you really need to do is follow the yellow brick road and find a pathways wizard. He'll show you how to get home. The yellow brick road? All I have to do is follow the yellow brick road. And on my journey, I found one of the characters that was very similar to me. And his name was the Scarecrow. My life was such a mess. I had no organizational skills. And I just thought to myself, if I only had a brain, I could unravel every riddle for every individual in trouble or in pain. One of my first projects in Toastmasters was improving my organizational skills. I started to plan open houses. I started to plan contests. I started to interact with people and use critical thinking skills and plan larger and larger events. And I eventually realized, oh my gosh, maybe I really do have a brain. And so that was my first few steps on the yellow brick road. A few months later, I met another character, and his name was the Tin Man. I have to tell you that after 2 years of taking a cocktail of 3 antibiotics, I felt really numb. I didn't really feel anything. I was just in constant pain. Worse than that, I moved to the sunshine state, and one of my antibiotics side effects is that I can't be in the sun. So you can imagine what I'm going through right now. I'm just completely numb from all this pain and all this medication. And I just wanted it to see the pathway wizard, and I wanted to tell him, I wish I had a heart. I wish I could feel again. If I had a heart, I'd be tender, I'd be gentle, I'd be awfully sentimental if I only had a heart. During my pathways experience, I actually chose effective coaching because when I was growing up, my dad was my best friend. We used to play baseball in the park. He told me about boxing. He told me about people like Muhammad Ali that used to move like a butterfly and sting like a bee. He was a big Yankee fan as well. The Yankees are one of the winningest franchises ever. He taught me about Reggie Jackson. He taught me about Dave Winfield. He taught me about Dan Mattingly, the rich history, over 26 national championships. I wanted it to be like my dad. He was the wind beneath my wings. And I just knew that this effective coaching pathway might somehow make him proud. I started to coach people that were just like me. And they told me, this is not for me, Jesus. This is not for me. You have the wrong person. I said, no, this is exactly for people just like you. Because I was just like you once. I was once afraid of my own shadow. And as I began to mentor people, I saw their faces grow with confidence. I saw them able to make their dreams a reality. I even saw some of them start to speak in public meetings. Some of them even got promoted to being managers and supervisors. And along the way, one of them got back to me and said, hey, Zeus, I just want you to know that that day that you reached out to me was a really deep and dark time in my life. And nobody believed in me. You were the only person that believed in me. My girlfriend didn't even believe in me. My mom didn't believe in me. But you saw something in me. And I kind of smiled, and my heart came to life. And I realized, oh my God, I really do have a heart. I can touch other people's hearts. And so I was like the Tin Man as well. So I continued on my journey, the yellow brick road, and I was getting closer and closer to that magical wizard of pathways. And I met another character, and he was the lion. And when I met him, he was a little defensive. He approached me, put him up, I'll take you with one hand behind my back. But really inside, he was just afraid. He was a coward. He was really scared. That was just a shell. That was just an act. And I could relate to that. I was like that too. And I just thought, if I could just show off my prowess, be a lion and not a mouse, if I only had the nerve. I started with my first icebreaker speech, and that was really scary because I had to speak in front of a lot of people. And when you're up in front of a lot of people, there's nobody to hide behind. I really had to bare my soul. I remember my first speech. I remember my knees were shaking. I was afraid that maybe my face would still get stuck and I wouldn't be able to smile with my facial paralysis. I also had a lot of fatigue and my energy wasn't what it used to be. But I started taking vitamins. I started doing exercises. I started going online and listening to some of the great motivational speakers like Les Brown. I really love Les Brown. But another person that I really liked a lot was Mr. Rocky Balboa. He said one time, sometimes life will just beat you down and beat you down until you can't take it no more. Life is cruel like that. But life is not about how hard you can hit. Life is about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much can you take and keep going forward? I went up there and I gave my first icebreaker speech. And I didn't win Best Speaker, but I went back and I did speech 1.2 and 1.3. And I still couldn't even win Best Table Topics or Best Speech. But by the time I got to level 2, I won Best Speaker. And then I won Best Table Topics. I was really proud of myself because what I learned is that everybody's afraid. But it's what you do with that fear that makes you either a coward or a hero. So I had that type of fear. But in the end, I realized that it was really courage because I got up there and I gave that speech and I faced my fear. So I did have courage and I had it in spades. And the last character that I met along this yellow brick road was Dorothy. And I really liked Dorothy. She said, if you just walk far enough, you're eventually going to get somewhere. And I just stayed on this yellow brick road to the magical wizard of pathways. And along my way, I became the president of my club. I was voted in unanimously. I even became an area director. And I found myself doing things that I could never do before. People call me all the time now. They want my input on their speeches. They want my input on this and that. I was just thinking about this journey through pathways and what I've become. And I realized that if I can do it, you can do it too. Pathways gave me a yellow brick road, a path to growth and to success. I was able to grow my organizational skills. I was able to become a great mentor. I was able to grow my confidence, and I was able to become a great leader. At the end of my journey, I realized that I'm finally home. I got to where I wanted to be. All I really had to do was just tap my heels 3 times and say, there's no place like home. And here I am today. Thank you so much for your time, Madam Toastmaster.